Fam, what's good? This your boy Thou, FamOverTV. I appreciate everybody tapping into the channel, showing love. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you join the Discord. I left the link in the description for you. But today we got another good one. We're going to be talking about those trails of chemicals that's in the sky. If it's chemicals, is it chemicals? A lot of people tend to think it's just water and vapor and pressure from the planes and stuff. But some people think it's chemicals in the sky and it's harmful to everybody, or it's something in the sky that can alter the weather. We don't know. So we'll go check these videos out. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure you hit that like button, man. Let's get it.
Fam over.
What does it say up there?
Waste to energy facility.
Our plastic bale came in here, went in there, and they incinerated it.
Okay.
They burned it.
No. I didn't realize that plastic was getting burned.
GFL tells us there isn't demand for our kind of plastic. So burning it is the cost-effective solution.
Yeah.
Burning creates toxic ash. Finally, there's the batch with waste connections. You see the trucks that are in there.
Yeah.
It's also still in BC.
Dump trucks.
And Natasha is in for a surprise. I mean, you see,
Holy, yeah.
it's all just going in. I mean, this is a landfill.
Yeah.
It's just where you figured it would end up.
No, it's definitely not where I thought my recycling would end up.
Remember, Waste Connections encourages recycling and reuse, but as it turns out, not illegal. Recycling haulers in BC have no obligation to actually recycle the plastic. Mountains of our plastic burned overseas.
Now my son, I scared he always sick.
Tons of it dumped in a Canadian landfill.
You can suspect your DNA is being targeted by a release of aluminum into the atmosphere through trails. A systematic spreading of a substance that triggers a genetic response. Cases in New York, California, across the country. While right here in Washington, immunity to common germs is breaking down and flooding our city hospitals.
I don't get nervous to speak to you. What I get nervous about is not getting emotional telling you my story. Because in 2002, shortly after 9/11, like a lot of military veterans, I raised my right hand and I took an oath to the Constitution to hopefully do something meaningful with my life. 19 years old, unsure what I wanted to do. So I enlisted in the U.S. Air Force. My job in the U.S. Air Force was working in bioenvironmental engineering. So what bioenvironmental engineering is in the Air Force is equivalent to that of the OSHA and the EPA, if you're familiar with that. So we were an embedded liaison to make sure that we were tracking all of the aspects and impacts of the military, meaning what is the military doing and how is it impacting the environment, because we were accountable for that. Being government, we did not get any special treatment. We just couldn't be fined being another federal agency. EPA can, but not OSHA. So from the health side, it was knowing what you do in the Air Force. What does your job entail that is hazardous to your health? And I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that you were an aircraft painter, you were a mechanic. My job would go out to make sure I knew everything that you did, what you were exposed to, and how to mitigate and engineer out those hazards. Because we needed to, one, it's your legal right to be working in a safe and healthful work environment. So throughout 9 years, I worked as an industrial hygienist and an environmental specialist. There's two bases I was at that are called air logistics centers. What does that mean? It's not like a fighter wing, it's not really fun and amazing. What they did is they took aircraft that around every 10 to 15 years, they were required to be dismantled down to the last screw. So that meant every single industrial process you can think about, checking the metal integrity, making sure everything's good to go, or sometimes overhauling equipment. Part of my job in tracking the health hazards was to look at any time someone wanted to buy a chemical, any type of chemical. It was ordered through a system, and in that system I had to go in there and say, You know, the country we're in, we're not allowed to use this. We need to substitute it out with something a little less hazardous, while also maintaining the integrity for a technical order, meaning for that process it says you must use, you know, xylene or toluene to do this process. Well, I have to kind of fast forward. I want to say around 2006, I started kind of opening my eyes to how the military wasn't really what I thought it was. And people approached me knowing what I did for a living and said, "Have you ever heard of chemtrails?" Well, I hadn't. And that sparked my interest. So I went online and I looked at chemtrails. I saw a lot of, you know, debunking, a lot of sites that were just kind of calling it a conspiracy theory. And I thought, well, geez, this is what I do for a living. Preventive health, making sure that people are not getting sick, especially in the workplace, and by things that we're doing that can affect, you know, human health and the environment. To summarize it, in an attempt to debunk this conspiracy theory as I thought it was, I didn't debunk it. It literally changed my life. Like I said, this is hard for me because it's not easy standing here and telling my story.
I bet.
One day I was going through that computer system, which if you want to look it up, it's called an Air Force Form 3952. It is the approval of hazardous materials. I was finding tons and tons of large quantities of aluminum, barium, strontium in the forms of oxides and sulfates. And of course I knew that there's industrial processes you may not have heard of, but it's bead blasting, pneumatic sanding, shot peening. There is certain medias that's similar to that is used. However, I had already accounted for that. I would sit and look at this computer system and say, this shop wants to order this paint. I'm going to tie it to a task. We had to know what was being used, why it was being used, tracking it cradle to grave on how we were going to dispose of it to be compliant with OSHA and the EPA. One of the legal requirements in approving these is looking at what used to be called the material safety data sheet. On that sheet, it's going to list the manufacturer. It's going to list some maybe acquired personal protective equipment that needs to be used or some ways to mitigate the exposures. These electronic MSDSs did not have a manufacturer name. They were very vague. They almost looked to me like somebody had made it and scanned it into the system. So I asked the question, what is this being used for? I never got an answer, so I didn't approve it.
Wow.
And it sat there. And then the heat came down. Why aren't you? Are you behind on your 3952s? Only a select few of us did that. So I started asking questions. And at that point, my demonization began. You know, I made my rank. I was decorated. I was a non-commissioned officer of the quarter. I won lots of awards. I had no reason for anyone to attempt to demonize me. So then I get moved over to the other Air Logistics Center. There's only two in the Air Force, which is in Warner Robins, Georgia. This kind of carried with me, and I thought, you know what? Should I revisit this? Is it worth it? Did I hit something? Maybe it's need to know. I started finding the same things at Robins Air Force Base. I was now doing some more investigation work. Part of what I did was to use a high volume air sampler to air sample up to, I'd say, a football field in about 10 minutes.
She exposing how working in the Air Force, they was releasing these supposedly chemtrails, and they didn't know they was doing it knowingly. So, I mean, this is interesting, and I wonder where she is right now, because for her to be able to tell this, I'm sure she caught some heat from this for sure. Make sure y'all like the video.
I also conducted soil sampling because I thought, you know, if this is real and they are spraying this, it's going to get to the ground. So I conducted air sampling, I conducted soil sampling, and I was getting high levels of these contaminants. When I started asking the question again under a new commander, I never in my life thought I would have somebody look me in the face and tell me, I am questioning you. Is there something wrong with you? You've been looking really depressed lately. You know I can put you under a mental evaluation for up to 120 days. Who would take care of your daughter? Because I was divorced at the time. As soon as I heard that, I knew. It validated everything I ever thought. And I thought, I've spent 9 years of my life trying to protect human health, and here we are violating law after law after law. Just sitting here, instead of protecting the people, we are poisoning the people. And I've never got up so much courage from that fear of being thrown in a cage, because when you're in the military, folks, you're a number. You are a number, and every aspect of your life is controlled.
I wonder, did she retract her statements and everything after that? I gotta do some more researching, because y'all know how they are. They'll make her go back and be like, yeah, I was just upset at the time or something. But y'all see, that's proof right there. That's it. She just told us exactly how it be going down. It's crazy.
The contrails, not the chemical, the contrails occur because of cold air, minus 30. It takes high altitude, around 30,000 feet plus. There's carbon dioxide and water vapor in that exhaust. That turns to ice crystals, and that's what you see, the white stream behind it. Those white crystals of ice warm up, dissolve, and the smoke goes away. And it never lasts more than a minute. What we're seeing now, and I first could not believe it, and I started looking at the skies, and these are not normal. They're not natural. There's something going on. I don't know who it is or why they're doing it. All I can testify is it's not natural and it's not normal. It's got to be some outside influence doing that. Thank you.
I'm here to give you testimony that chemtrails, they're not contrails, are indeed real. They're spraying almost every day. I watch the clouds and watch the spraying program going on.
Me too.
I want to tell you that we're in very great danger from the pollution that's coming down over us.
Wow.
And we've been led astray by the military-industrial complex, and they're responsible for the cloud's creation and weather manipulation programs. They're dark operations. That's why they're not out in the media.
I look around and I see people are starting to look up and see this. Many times I've spoken about chemtrails, and I get this blank look on my face. What are you talking about? I'm saying, look up. As a pilot, but before I fly, I look up. And so, boy, they're really out there working.
When you look up at the sun and you see a white haze, that is aluminum floating in the air right now. And it's
wow. Man, how many of y'all be looking? Because today I seen it. That's why I thought about doing this video. Oh, actually, let me tell y'all what happened today. I'm doing the chemtrails because I was looking in the sky today. I was on my way to MGM to meet up with my homie. And on my way, it's probably like around noon. On my way, I'm on Tropicana. I got to pass by UNLV. Man, I mean, all of a sudden, SWAT, helicopters, police, everything just came out of nowhere, shut down everything, all the streets, everything. I'm talking about, like, we couldn't even go down Tropicana no more. I had to turn all the way around. Come to find out, it was an active shooter. You know what I'm saying? Sad to hear. I mean, that's what we hear. We don't know. Y'all know how they play games and everything, but it was crazy. But that's why I did the chemtrails video today, because I seen them in the sky. They always in the sky. Do y'all be seeing them like all the time in the morning? I be seeing them like.
The fact is, the government is controlling this crazy weather, and they're spraying chemicals all in the air.
Whoa! Wait 1 second.
Now, have you ever looked up in the sky and saw long lines of white hazes coming from any type of aircraft? That right there is said to be chemtrails, or evidence that they are doing some sort of geoengineering. Oh yeah, I'm serious. Contrails and chemtrails are two completely different things. Contrails are what a lot of scientists and plane experts are saying that this actually is, but chemtrails last a lot longer than contrails, and it has aluminum in it, which will kind of change the weather, and this is why we're dealing with different health issues, because we're not supposed to be having like aluminum in our body and stuff like that.
They are absolutely not contrails.
We've collected samples directly from the emissions from aircrafts. We have identified particles in there.
Elements like aluminum, barium, strontium, polymer fibers, all of which are highly toxic, all of which are being absorbed by the entire web of life, including us.
Wow. I don't know. I do believe that there are different secrets that they keep to, quote, protect us. Now, what is going on though albedo modification. It's pretty much like chemtrails. And so what they're trying to do is block the sun from getting all the way here,
creating a massive chemical cloud that could cool the earth.
Like, that's what they needed to do. They needed to reflect. What gets me is I feel like I see planes specifically do this. Like, it's not just headed to Chicago and I'm just having some condensation coming from my plane. No, I see planes going back and forth, like this is its duty.
You don't right. And I see them all the time, and it's crazy. So and we breathing in all this stuff. Like, they can be doing all type of stuff. They can be altering the weather. They can be messing with us so we don't live long. Like my man said, like, you can't even pick fruit. Remember, everybody used to pick the fruit off the trees and just eat the fruit and everything back in the day. I remember that. All that type of stuff. You can't do none of that anymore. Like, it's crazy.
That's suspicious.
You said chemtrails are like the training wheels for conspiracy theorists, because they're like they're right above your head, and you just like you see them right there. For people who don't understand why jets produce clouds, please explain that, because it's very simple.
It is very simple. Jet engines have water in their exhaust. If you look at a car on a cold day and you see the exhaust coming out of the tailpipe, you'll see like a cloud of condensation sometimes, and you'll see some water coming out. And when the exact same thing happens with jet engines. And when that exhaust hits the cold air, it condenses, it freezes, it makes a cloud. And contrails are essentially clouds.
No, contrails that's from that water and the vapor and all that type of stuff. It don't last long, like they just said, but the chemtrails with the chemicals in it, it lasts longer when they be putting it out, and then it expands and it stays in the sky. And we all can see that. Like, you can't trick us. I don't even know why dog trying to act like they not doing it. It's proof. They talking about it right here. Like, shit crazy. What can we do though? Like, what can we do? It's like they got the power over us, man. Appreciate everybody. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already. Let's keep going.
Well, I'm gonna get a ton of hate for this one, but oh well. I'm just thinking a little outside of the box, and I could be wrong. That's why this is a theory. But remember when all of those explosive chemicals went missing? Well, they're still missing today. And here's a picture from that satellite where all of those fires seemingly started at the same time. Almost like somebody used a ton of explosives to blow it up. I don't know. Don't come for me. I'm just saying.
Now that's a chemtrail. I see them all day out here. And it'd be more than one.
Don't forget when Fauci said this.
So if we really want to prevent the next pandemic, and there will be one, there will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic. It may be next year, or it may be in your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren's lifetime. We don't know.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Wow.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Explain that on them planes when they got like all those tubs and look at that, man. Look at that. Explain that. Like, why they trying to hide it like they not doing something and they know they doing it? It's crazy. Man, everybody, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. This is like, I don't know why the music went out. Probably had to turn it off or something. And make sure y'all join that Discord. We can exchange info there. Y'all can send me content, send me videos you want me to react to. And look at this plane, y'all. Look, I mean, I don't believe like they just made this just to show it for the video. So they had a switch on there that said it. It's crazy.
Some people believe that chemtrails are more than just ordinary airplane contrails. They claim that these mysterious trails, which linger in the sky for hours, are actually part of a sinister government plot to control the population through the release of harmful chemicals. According to this theory, the chemicals dispersed by high-flying aircraft are designed to manipulate human behavior, influence the weather, or even cause mass illnesses.
See?
Proponents of the chemtrail conspiracy argue that the government and other powerful organizations are behind this secretive operation, deliberately hiding the truth from the public. Skeptics, on the other hand, assert that chemtrails are nothing more than harmless condensation trails left by airplanes, and that the conspiracy theory lacks credible evidence. Are chemtrails...
But they can't trick us and say that because we got proof. You see, the ex-Air Force pilot, the lady that was speaking in the beginning, she said it. The other pilot said it. We just seen the plane. Like, what you mean? They can't trick us no more. This is not a conspiracy. This is a fact now. So I don't know, man. It's crazy like how they doing this. Just
Chemtrails a dangerous government experiment, or simply a misunderstood natural phenomenon? What do you think?
I know what I think. It's crazy, man. It ain't right.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Chris here from the Woodstock Cafe in Mirror, Alberta. And as you can see from the clouds above me, our trip yesterday was successful. So I just figured I'd come clean and let you all in on a little secret. You know how I've been flying around in airplanes lots over the last few months? Well, people often ask me, how can you afford that, Chris? Flying's expensive, and I'll tell you. The government pays me to do it. They actually pay me $10 a gallon to dump chemicals. So,
wow.
I'm going to explain to you how this works.
Listen to him.
It's really actually quite simple. So, in the wings of an airplane, there's bladders. And in a normal airplane, this is where the fuel would be. But in this airplane, you see this little access port right here. When you remove those screws, there's a high-pressure leakless fitting, and we use that to fill the wings with chemicals. And then, this particular aircraft is outfitted with a few different chem spraying options. So let's go for it here. I'll show you the first one. In the engine compartment here, there's some lines that run all the way down. Now this comes from the wings. Comes all the way down through here, in behind this air inlet, and then down into this spray tube. So when we're flying, the engine exhaust comes out here and it's mixed with the chemicals. And the purpose of that is to create some clouds. So you can see there's a...
Now, why would he be telling this? Like, I don't think this guy is just sitting here making this up and making a lie up just for what? That I don't think he's trying to do nothing for no views or just none of that. This ain't none, like, he ain't capping. So it's right in front of our face. I wonder what happened to him. You know, everybody that comes out and get to exposing something with the big people, you know what happened. So I'm gonna have to look in, see what he on right now.
Fusing screw installed right there. and these are government supplied. So the next option for spraying, this airplane actually has a few. So this little thing right here, that's actually a high pressure atomizer for a different type of chemical. We're not going to be using that one on this trip because, as you can see, the regular chem is doing its job in making clouds. And you can tell that this is true because you never see clouds unless there's airplanes making them. So if you come down to the wingtips here, there are some flexi nozzles here. Now these flexi nozzles, these can be used for either liquid or solid powder type chem. And the beauty of that is, you know, if you have a job where you just want to seed some clouds, you can use a liquid. If you have a job where you need to genocide an entire province, well, you can install the powder and spray. Now finally, we're gonna go back here.
I ain't like
There's
that
the,
word.
Chem spray certification tag. Where are we here? Where is it? Ah, here it is, right there. So this is called a fogger. This actually ups our revenue from $10 a gallon up to $40 a gallon because this fogger here, it disperses the chem so much with the turbulence on the horizontal stabilizer in conjunction with the tip caps here. That causes some turbulence back here, and it fogs so much that you end up with this. I'd say we did a pretty good job last night as we flew into Cranbrook. So British Columbia, you're welcome. We did a very good job of seeding clouds for you and blocking.
Let me ask y'all this though. Like with him knowing this, like you knowing that they paying you to do something that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just wrong. It's wrong for the people. Like, I see he came clean and letting us know and everything. So eventually maybe he was like, okay, I'm gonna stop this. But when you think like, that's like me, if I was in the Air Force and they got me doing, and I found out like, man, y'all got me doing this and I'm harming people and releasing toxins in the air and everything, man, I ain't finna be doing that. And definitely tell some people and everything, like maybe some of these, or I know how it be. Some of these people, you can shut them up easy. Some of these people ain't gonna fight because, you know, that power, get to talking to them and let them know. And you know what the next thing will be. So I'll show y'all hit the like button.
Of the sun, as you
My
can see.
bad, y'all.
So we're stopping climate change. So there you are, folks. I've come clean, and I told you what the truth is, and it's on video on Facebook, so you can't argue with it. If anyone does argue with it, you can be upset with them and point to the video as evidence. So I guess it's time for me to get back into our airplane. Call sign Charlie Hotel Echo Mike Niner. Chem Niner. Have a great day, everyone.
Man, that's crazy.
See you on the flip side.
He just blatantly just let us know what's up and everything. Like, this it's not a conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? This is the agenda. This is what's happening. Population control, man. Population control. That is not no vapor trail right there. Right, what can we do, y'all? I mean, what can we do? This the big people, this the elites, the power. Like, what can we do? They putting this in the air. It's like we can't get around it. Can't stay inside forever. I'm sure that mask ain't gonna work.
The Air Force is on record as saying, quote, they want to control the weather by 2025, and we are not talking about just seeding the clouds for rain. Of April this year, there are more than 150 different weather modification programs around the world. Since about 2000, the Department of Defense and the Department of Energy have been spraying the entire United States sky with a toxic brew of chemicals and other biologic agents. Military and some commercial jets have been fitted with huge barrels of at least 49 different kinds of documented chemical poisons. Among other documented ingredients in this toxic man-made clouds are pathogenic molds, fungi, weaponized viruses, and made in some places like the secret site in Fort Detrick, Maryland, which is supposed to be a cancer site, but there are a number of scholars and professors tracked. The Air Force is on record as saying, quote, they want to control the weather by 2025.
Acid in the stratosphere, 20 kilometers over our head.
They want to control the weather by 2025. That's in 1 year, basically. Y'all. How y'all feel about that? Like, man, they are cold how they doing this, man.
And use that to stop the planet warming up in a kind of ugly tech fix.
You can spray something into the atmosphere to change.
Spray pollution into the atmosphere to stop it warming.
How do you do this?
You'd start with a fleet of modified business jets and say 20,000 tons of sulfuric acid into the stratosphere every year. And each year you have to put a little more. And this doesn't, in the long run, mean that you can forget about cutting emissions. We will need to rein in.
No, we'll get to it eventually. In the meantime, we're shrouding the earth in sulfuric acid.
So people are terrified about talking about this because they're scared that it will prevent us cutting emissions.
Right, and also that it's sulfuric acid.
We put 50 million tons of sulfuric acid in the air now as pollution, and it kills 1 million people a year worldwide.
Okay, but it'll be better if we put more in.
We're talking about 1% of that.
1% more, we're just killing 10,000 more people.
You can do math.
What happens to the sulfuric acid after it's sprayed? Does it just stay up there?
No, it rains down, but it's a tiny addition of what we're already doing.
Is there any possible way this can come back to bite us in the end?
It actually turns out to be an old idea. This was known since President Johnson.
You ever look at those planes up there? They have contrails behind them. Maybe all those planes with the contrails, maybe they're actually spraying chemicals into the atmosphere right now, and Uncle Sam isn't telling us.
Seems extremely unlikely.
That the United States is not telling something to its citizens? That seems extremely likely to me. Read the newspaper. I think they might have an idea.
I'm waking up from my nap and I see this. I always wondered, like, why is it that some planes have this and some planes don't? They say it's water vapor and it has no harm to us. I call BS. There's no way that this has nothing to do with emitting chemicals on us and weather control. We do this on our life force. Air, breath, wonder, ask questions, and remain curious.
Seeing that every day, multiple planes. Right. And then you know what? I don't think they like me doing these videos because I just got this little thing. I wish I can, let me see. I wish I could show y'all. They said my live finna end in 5 minutes, y'all. I got another video, but I think it's like about 10 minutes long, but I'm gonna have to do another one another time. I'm finna end it because I don't know what the fuck going on. Let me see. They are cold. I don't know, but hey, y'all see, it ain't even no conspiracy or nothing. Like, y'all see what they doing to us. And then they messing with my channel. Can y'all still hear me? It's crazy. Man, they all call. I know they ain't messing with. Can y'all hear me? It's crazy. Make sure y'all join the Discord and like the video if y'all can hear me and subscribe. I appreciate everybody who tapped in. It's finna end in a second, so I'll do another one, y'all. But I appreciate y'all. I don't know what they doing. FamOverTV. Appreciate my moderators too, man. I'll see y'all soon. Love all y'all. Peace.
Fam over.